Welcome. And thank you for joining us on another episode of today's Electrical Estimating. I'm your co-host, Chris Trommer, and we're going to be picking up where we left off, still on the topic of tariffs. This time, we're going to be talking about the Supreme Court ruling. What does that rollback mean? I mean, for an everyday contractor, does that mean that if the distributor you are purchasing products from and we're charging you an additional tariff fee is going to be sending you a check? Or really, how does this all break down? I mean, what's going on with it? I know there's been a lot of questions since this rolled out a couple months ago. A lot of them haven't really been addressed clearly. But we figure we bring Keith into this conversation, get his side of this, and get a better understanding of sort of what occurred and how it's going to affect everybody up and down the channel as we move forward. We appreciate you joining us. Hopefully, you're finding this series helpful and answering some direct questions for you. If you are enjoying it, please hit the subscribe button. We got a couple more episodes rolling out over the next few weeks. So, again, thank you for taking the time listening and enjoy. So, I want to touch on something real quick. So, we've been talking about the Supreme Court on and off throughout this, and obviously, throughout their ruling, it was said that the tariffs that were in place under certain sections of how they were being used were being ruled against, and they were being, I guess, rolled back. We've talked time and time again that companies, Ford being one of them, there's manufacturers within our electrical and lighting industry, I know, that have absorbed the prices of importing goods over this last 365 days, eating the cost of the tariffs that were being put on them as they were importing their goods from China, Vietnam, or wherever it may be. Then the whole thing came up after the fact that they're going to refund tariff. At this point, if I'm a contractor and I'd seen my price of some of my products go up, I can't say that was done because of tariffs, or that was done because of inflation, or if that was done because, as you said, a copper mine down in Brazil went offline for 6 weeks for a strike. But the companies are saying, I want my money back that I paid at the port. How is this situation going to be fair for contractors and estimators who actually had the cost of these tariffs rolled down to them, and then the manufacturer turns around and gets all of his money back, but they were paying higher prices for the last 365 days? I'm trying to understand the fairness of their ruling here, because good for some of the manufacturers that have paid for it. Obviously, if they got ruled they were illegal, give them some of their money back. It's way over my head, but they're going to get that money back. But where's the fairness for one that had sort of passed that pricing along down to the end user? And now these contractors are sitting going, did I pay the tariff cost? Did I not? Was that inflation? But the wait, now this company's getting all this money. Wait, I did pay for what the tariff was. What's
Yeah,
your thoughts on that?
yeah. So this was the big fear with the Supreme Court ruling, because it's going to create a mess, an absolute mess. From the federal government's perspective, they only will be refunding to the importer of record. Okay,
Okay.
so if I'm a big name, and I'm not going to name anybody specifically, if I'm a big name and I'm a distributor and I was the importer of record, that refund is due to me from the federal government. Then the federal government kind of washes its hands and says, "Okay, I've done my obligation.
You
I have
figure.
paid you
Yep.
back. I have paid you back what you are owed." Now, there are people that have contracts with distributors or with manufacturers that say, they have tariff provisions down in those contracts that explicitly lay out what those impacts are, right? So here's your base price, but if there's a tariff impact, here's that amount. They should be able to go back and pull those invoices and say, here's what you charged me for the tariff based on our price. Okay, those might be cut and dry, and that manufacturer owes you money. The
Yeah.
ones that are gonna be a problem, and they're gonna face all kinds of legal challenges, and it's gonna get ugly, is, you're in sales, right? I I I heard instances where, a salesperson will go in and tell a customer, I gotta take a 23 or 25% price increase on you because of tariffs. Sorry,
Yeah.
that's just the way it is." When the company wasn't paying the tariff. For
Yeah.
whatever reason, they were getting exclusion. They saw it as an opportunity to go take that 25% hike on a price, and it was not tariff driven, okay? that company who bought that product has a verbal agreement, but now it's gonna come down to, did I have an email that said it? Did I have anything that I can prove that that salesperson represented the fact that it was a tariff increase driving the price increase?
Yep.
Now it becomes a legal issue.
So this
And
becomes sort of like a new becomes sort of a new chaos where the government goes, we sort of did this, but you figure it out depending on if you want to be a nice guy or not, or how you did things, or maybe you did things for one contractor that was a larger contractor that worked with a distributor that had specific pricing already written into agreement compared to a smaller contractor who's more, I buy here and there kind of thing. And so it's just going to be sort of a case by case chaos basis for the foreseeable future as these continue to roll out and a better understanding of refunds are being placed to what companies and how they went about actually implying tariffs, implementing. There's the word I was looking for. Implementing tariffs there on their sites.
absolutely, and it's gonna drag out years. Those court cases, one by one, company by company, it's gonna drag out. It's gonna challenge relationships.
Yeah.
Companies are gonna have to look and see, what they would really get back versus the legal cost to go pursue it.
Now it's don't expect anything in your bank account next week because there's
No.
still going to be a lot of legal fun going on. So if you are one of those companies or one of those possibly contractors or distributors that were looking at contesting some of these increases based on tariffs, we'll have this conversation again in 2029 and you might be on a docket at that point. Pretty much what we're
Yeah.
looking at.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, if they had it buttoned up and it's in a contract or they've got an email that
You got a
specifically
better
says
chance
it, yeah, I mean, they're all now going through the process probably of trying to see what they can pull
reviewing
for
it.
documentation. Yeah,
AI, there you go. Drop all of your contracts in. Look if you had tariff provisions in AI, and if you did, go.
absolutely.